What's up guys, PokePacksNPlays here, and today I'm just going to be analyzing all the decks I think are really good for the regional championships week 1, so this is not including the breakpoint cards. So the first deck I'm going to show you is two variants of the same deck, the Vespiquen Vileplume. So I'll just show you the Milotic version. So Flareon has the attack. Let me just pan out actually. I'll just be going over these quickly because I want to make this pretty brief. Flareon has the attack. Vengeance does the same thing as Vespiquen's Big Revenge. Pretty much you put a bunch of Pokemon in the discard pile through Battle Compressor, and you have a bunch of Pokemon in your deck, and you hit for a ton of damage. And this deck is extremely powerful. Beats a lot of decks. You win the prize trade because your opponent are taking very little prizes while you're taking a lot more. You play 2/2 Milotic line because it helps you get back important resources that you would need, and if you don't need it, you can just throw it away with Battle Compressor. But the big thing with this deck, the difference between the other Milotic variant, is that I'm playing Life Dew. Life Dew says if you use it, your opponent takes one less prize. So this is for the mirror and against things like Night March where the prize count really matters. And for some decks, it's extremely difficult to take so many prizes against a deck that's aggravating so much pressure. Through Milotic, you can prevent 2 or 3 prizes taken, so this is extremely powerful. But other than that, you just use a Shaman Engine and Unknown Engine to get through your deck very quickly. And then this is a personal choice, but I chose to use Getsis over Hex Maniac because I think Sableye is extremely powerful, and things like Blastoise are too. But if you like Hex Maniac, they're definitely interchangeable. I use this once as a meta call against like Archeops and Sableye decks. But Hex Maniac would also be a very solid option, so definitely consider swapping that for this. AZ and Floatstone are also really great. Town Map is you can take that out if you want. It's solid against decks like Sableye because sometimes one card from your prize is super useful. But it's still very strong if you want to play it. Other than that, yeah, the deck's really strong. But I'll show you guys another variant of the same deck that's also extremely powerful. Let me just find it. Virgie. So this is a regular version of Vespiquen Flareon. Pretty much the only differences are that you play things like Jolteon and Entei, and Audino. So basically you're switching late game for just different useful techs. I think Entei isn't very useful, and Jolteon, so I would cut that for a Bonnelby or something maybe. But Entei, I mean, it's all personal preference, to be honest. These little techs, you decide which ones you want. So Entei, you might be able to cut for a Bonnelby, or maybe you can cut something this and maybe a Jolteon if you want to make a smaller 1/1 line of Milotic. So it's all personal preference. The one Jirachi is also really nice, but again, it's all personal preference. Again, you can switch this for Hex Maniac. 2 Lysander is amazing in this deck. So if you have 4 Lysander, if you have 4 Sycamore and 1 Lysander in this deck, I would definitely recommend swapping them for maybe 2 Lysander and 3 Sycamore, because that's just how powerful the deck becomes. Significantly more powerful when you have more access to Lysander at all times. But yeah, it's a brief analysis of the deck. I just made a video like a week ago about like me winning with this deck, so if you want a full analysis you can watch that, but this is pretty much a brief overview. Yeah, so the difference between this one and the other one is this one has Comfy Research, the other one has Life Dew. This one's a little bit more aggro, the other one wants to get things back. So the second deck we're going to be looking at is actually a Yveltal deck. Oh, yeah, Yveltal Maxis right here. So the aim of this deck is to use Yveltal EX with the attack Evil Ball. I haven't actually analyzed this, so I'll go over it a little bit further. Use the attack Evil Ball to supply a lot of pressure, and through Dark Patch, getting energy back easily, Hypnotoxic Laser, and Burbank City Gym as well as cards like Muscle Band, you can just do a ton of damage really, really easily, and that is extremely powerful. Now, an interesting thing that was brought to this deck recently is using Maxie's Hidden Ball Trip as well as Archeops to block things like Vespiquen, block things like Flareon, as well as if you don't play against an evolution-based deck, you can actually use Gallade. So Gallade's ability is you can put 5 cards in the top of your deck and put them back in any order, so that you can like get things like Shaman. It combos into Shaman, and it controls your top deck to make sure you have a solid top deck, as well as when you're just drawing a few cards, it can help you with that. So Gallade is really strong on top of Archeops, and then you use Baby Yveltal to get back resources. Very strong against Sableye, just because you can always get back energy. So if you chain energies between these two things, you'll apply a lot of pressure. One Jirachi just helps you get the Archeops and Gallade out. 2 Shamans, standard, and just 1 Keldeo. You can rush and retreat with the 1 Float Stone we have, or you can just attach one of the 7 energies and then use Darkrai. So very solid. Darkrai actually helps you a ton against Night March, so be sure to use it effectively. Baby Yveltal also helps against Night March. Hex Maniac, also great, and just really solid deck overall. Very, very strong. Now, the fourth, I guess, and final deck we're gonna look over is actually Sableye Garbodor. I've already done 2 analysis of this deck, so you can definitely go back and watch them. But this is just kind of another brief overview of the deck going into regionals. So Sableye, using Junk Hunt attack, and get back 2 items. Obviously, you have a plethora of items you can use. 2 Shamans just helps you get through your deck. 2 Bunnelby helps deck them out and also get resources back, like Team Aqua's base. And Garbodor just helps lock abilities. This deck is extremely solid. So many hammers and enhanced hammer. Hypnotoxic Laser, very good. Just slows them down a little bit, and if you get the Sleeplet, that is excellent for you. A Super Rod gets back your resources. Tool Scrapper, good as well. Trick Shovel just helps you mill a little bit more, and it helps you in scenarios where maybe they have 3 cards left in your deck, and so you can't just discard 2. It's effective when used at the right time, but remember, it's not always just a discard card. You want to use it to control your opponent's top deck, so it's not a good card. Waste your opponent's turn, make them top deck into it. Make them use a Sycamore. So that's kind of what you want to do with Trick Shovel. One Ice Trainer, it's my little tech, but I think it's strong because you're always going to be drawing 6 while they're always going to be drawing 3. Life Dew is obviously the backbone of this deck, and your opponent just can't take prizes. And once you're every other turn, you can get this back. So very strong. This deck is really great, honestly. 4 Team Flagrant and 2 Xerosic. Very aggressive in your Seismitoad hate. If they're gonna item block you, whatever, you just could use all these cards and discard their energy. What are they gonna do? They drop item block for a second. They start attaching energy to Garantina. Oh, I have 6 hammers I can use against you that I can get back every turn. Alright? Every turn. If you want to add something else like a Getsis, you can cut an energy, you can cut the laser, I suppose. Another thing is you have 2 Team Aqua's base, make their retreat cost 1 more. They're very strong. If you want, you can actually cut something else for a 3rd one of these. It's very strong. I find 2 would be fine, but sometimes they have enough counter stadiums to get rid of them. 2 end, just to cycle through the deck. And I mean, other than that, the deck is pretty simple. But if you want further analysis, like I said, you guys can check out my individual other videos. But if you're gonna play this deck, make sure you've absolutely mastered it. Know all the matchups. There's a ton of great articles out there But you can't just go into the tournament knowing, not having a good list, and not knowing what you're doing. Because if you do either of those things, you're gonna go 0-4, and you're not gonna make a difference in regional. You're not gonna do well. So you're gonna make sure you know what you're doing, 100% with this deck. Know your matchups. Know how to beat Blastoise. Know how to beat Night March. Know how to beat Vespiquen. Because some of these matchups are very difficult. And especially the matchups that are like even or slightly winnable for you, they're only slightly winnable if you know how to use the deck. So make sure you exert your resources at the right time, junk hunt for the right things, don't bench unnecessary things that you don't need to. Don't overextend your, this is a big one, don't overextend your float zones while having Aqua Space in play. Because if they megaphone you, and then Lysander you, and then let's say you attach your energy, have like 5 or 6 energy on the field already or gone, you just can't get those back. So make sure you know what you're doing with this deck, or you will get completely screwed over. It's a very, very difficult deck to use, and it takes a lot of mastery. But I mean, other than that, you should be fine. Watch out for the, I'll actually just go over a brief matchup spread for all the decks. Watch out for something like Yveltal. If you're expecting a lot of Yveltal in your meta, please, for the love of God, don't play this. Yveltal kind of craps on this deck. It's winnable, but it's very difficult because of all the energy they can get back. And you almost can't keep up with them. But what you're going to want to do is, if they play unoptimally and bench a bunch of things, headringer their Shaman, Lysander it, or if they bring up a Yveltal, just Lysander that, headringer it, or if they have a Keldeo, headringer that, and Aqua Space. If they play it well, right? So if they play, Yveltal player plays it well, you can just always discard it from their active Yveltal, and hope they don't have a second Yveltal. And if they do have a second Yveltal, just keep up with your life do drops, and make sure to use Bonnelby when you need to, and to discard effective resources. Against Blastoise, try to get Hex out turn 1. Hex Maniac's really good. And against Vespiquen, just always discard their stuff. Trick Shot was really good, just to make sure whether they have DCs or not. And using a Bonnelby aggressively to try to get rid of any important resources is also strong. And then those are the big matchups. Against Mega Man X-Trick, try to headringer them. As long as they can't attach more than, as long as they don't play Mega Turbo, they can't attach to 2 or 3 energies in one turn, so you should be fine. So those are all the matchups for this deck. You win most of them, if not all of them. I'll actually leave some useful articles that help you puzzle time in the description. Now we can actually just go over the Yveltal matchup spread really quick. So this deck doesn't super strongly beat anything. It goes about even with Night March. No. This deck should pretty much beat Night March because you Baby Yveltals, Darkrai, and also you can use and then you can just use things effectively. Not against. The deck is pretty good in Night March if you just kind of use your resources correctly, and against Vespiquen, Darkrai is also really good, and Archeops kind of craps on Vespiquen, except if they have Hex Maniac, and then they can prevent it for a turn or 2. Just be conservative and don't waste your resources. Against Blastoise, you can trade pretty well, and I mean probably go even with that deck. Against Sableye, I kind of explained, you just kind of want to use your Yveltals. Don't bench too many things other than maybe a Darkrai. And don't use Shamans if you don't have to. Just don't put up targets that you don't need to. Against Mega Man X-Trick, try to conserve that Darkrai. You might even want to put a second Darkrai in this deck. It's pretty strong. So maybe cut something you don't like maybe an N or something if you don't want to. But other than that, list is fine. So you should be alright. So on to Sableye. No, on to Vespiquen. The deck the matchups, I'll kind of put them in the same thing, because the same umbrella, because you don't really need to go over them twice. Against Sableye, what you do is, this is a deck I'm extremely experienced in, so my advice is pretty important here, I'd say. Against Sableye, you're gonna start with Eevee, hopefully, and play down your evolve into Flareon, and only bench unknown to immediately use Farewell Letter. Other than that, don't use anything else. Only discard maybe an Execute because it's helpful later, and then maybe something else. If you play Bottleby, that's useful, so get that in your hand and play it down if you can, but also hold it because you don't want it to get revealed too quickly, because it's also super good. But yeah, just don't bench anything else, and just use your VS Seekers very conservatively, and so you can get Blacksmith back. AZ if you start something that's not Shaman. If you start Shaman, you can just Sky Return. Hopefully, don't Headringer it. Get System effectively when they have Life Dew, so they whiff a turn of junk hunting, so you can get a prize. Use your 2 Lysander up Shaman or Garbodor or something like that, because that will help you a lot. Against Blastoise, you kind of want to Lysander the Blastoise and knock it out if you can. If you can't, try to get one-shot on the Keldeos and things like that. Don't really try to challenge the Articunos because they're extremely strong. Against Uboat, I've just found that once they go for you, if you get a Bangle, you hit your Bangle and Best Queen and hit for 180, 170, turn 1 or turn 2. That kind of pressure is pretty much unrivaled, because if they don't knock it out, you can do it 170 next turn. If they do knock it out, you have 2 more Pokemon to work with. So you only have to start with 1 or 2 more Pokemon anyways. But other than that, I mean, if you have Milotic against Sableye or against any of these matchups, you just conserve your resources and you can get them back. Maybe this should be a Hexmaniac, but I mean, it's decision based. Audino is really good. Save your Audino, don't discard it against almost everything. Like, I've lost a game against Blastoise because he kept chilling sighing me, and I didn't wake up. Against Sableye, they can Confuse Ray you, and that's actually devastating. If they Confuse Ray you, just drop another Eevee, and then hopefully have the next Flareon next turn, and you can AZ it up, and then you kind of bench, and then you can kind of continue the cycle, and you'll be fine. So if you have a Bumblebee, just get things back. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the analysis over all the decks and kind of a brief matchup spread. So if you have any other decks you're considering playing or any questions, Seismitoad is also very strong if you want to play a Seismitoad Bats or Seismitoad even Muna or Genesect or whatever. Leave a comment below asking me what you guys think, and I'll give you my opinion on the meta and how I feel about it. I'm only attending week 3 with Breakpoint, and I'm still kind of confused about what I have to do about that, but I will definitely post a video next week explaining what the play is after seeing the results for week 1. So if you have any questions, thanks. I'll definitely answer them. Please like this video if you guys enjoyed it, and subscribe, and then I'll see you guys next time. Bye.